This week, I enjoy a full dinner service at the departure gate, the crew accidentally finds the 747's disco mode switch, and I get jump scared by a taxi. As I take a ride on the world's longest 747 flight. 747, baby. I've just been upgraded to this absolutely massive suite on the 86th floor of the tallest building in Shenyang, China. And yeah, it's absolutely incredible. We've got everything. We've got a bedroom, we've got a living room, we've got fantastic views out of the scenery of Shenyang on a cloudy day, which isn't much at all. But in any case, it is time to head home, and today I'm doing it on an airline that, well, I've been trying to fly for a few years, but each time fills me with nervousness because today I'm about to fly halfway around the world back to the States on Air China. How bad could it be? Now this ain't just any flight back to the USA, because this is going to be the first time I've ever entered America as a legal permanent resident. It's a moment I've been waiting for so many years, to be able to just walk into America knowing it's home for life. And well, today we're going to be doing it. Let's get across to the airport. Shenyang isn't exactly a tourist hotspot, it's an industrial powerhouse in the northeast of China. But for me, the only landmark I care about right now is the airport. My big flight today is from Beijing to New York, but first I've got to hop on a domestic connection to get to the capital, and honestly, I'm just hoping the 747's actually waiting for me when I get there. Hello. Okay, Air China, yeah?
Okay,
Yeah,
yes. And your security go there, 13.
Yeah,
Your
okay.
lounge near gate 28.
The 28.
Yes,
Okay, perfect.
yes.
Thank
Okay.
you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Right, all checked in. Really easy. First time I've ever used my green card to check in. That was really straightforward. Just handed it to her, she loaded it onto the booking, and we were all good. Next stop, Chinese airport security. Dum 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 dum. Holy cow, that must be an absolute miracle. That is the first time I have ever been through airport security in China and not had to empty the contents of my bag. I've sort of already got my electrical stuff all together in my little zippy travel bag thing. Just placed that on the side, gave him my batteries, said, here, you want to see these? Know the drill now. Gave him both my battery packs. He checked them, they've both got that triple C logo on them. He's like, just waved me through. Got everything back together again and walk through. So yeah, I might be getting the hang of this China thing. Just might. Alrighty then, made it to the Air China lounge here in Shenyang. I do have to say, aside from the eternal confusion of Chinese airports, we have actually made it to the lounge quite easily. It's quite a straightforward airport to get through, apart from I've got about a 10-mile walk to my gate now. I've got some Chinese Coca-Cola, Chola. That's what I've got now. There's not a lot of food and drink here in the lounge, but it's okay. I'm sure we're going to be getting fed very well on Air China for our fly across the Pacific tonight. My plane's just turned up as well. Thank you. Bye-bye. Alrighty then, time to head down to the gate at the other end of Shenyang, I think, for our flight down to Beijing. Hello. And so it was time to get on board my first flight today, an hour-long hop down to Beijing on this Airbus A321. Ni hao, hello. Thank you, number 3.
Yeah, 3A. 3A.
Thank you.
欢迎乘今年好里面。
Air China's A321's in a 2-2 configuration in business class, a little bit like first class on domestic flights in the States.
I've
got a bit of a delay out of Shenyang. I think it's because of this fog. Now, I'm not saying they're expecting a long delay here or anything, but they have just brought around an entire dinner service to eat before we push back from the gate. I have a feeling this could be a while. I mean, to say it's probably fresher on the ground and it would have been in the air. It's not really saying a lot. One of the best things about flying in China is the traffic. It's not just a sea of Boeings and Airbuses that you see every day. You've got airlines like Donghai Airlines and Chongqing Airways, as well as Sichuan Airlines and the local connectors like China Express. But my favourite's got to be Shandong. They fly these things like fighter jets. If you see a Shandong pilot, get out of the way. My first leg today then took me west from Shenyang to the capital city, Beijing. Flight time today 1 hour and 25 minutes, cruising at 30,000 feet. I've not been international on a trip for almost a year now. This trip has been quite scary for me, if I'm honest, because for a start, it's the first time I've really left the country in almost a year. I was really nervous, but I'm glad I got through it. I guess even being a seasoned traveller, when you don't travel for a bit, sometimes the world can be a scary place, and it really was. But as we weave our way down into the haze of the capital, those nerves begin to settle. We're descending into Beijing Capital Airport, the massive beating heart of Air China. One flight down, now let's go find that queen. Thank you. Even though we parked at a jet bridge, we still had to go down some steps and to a bus. Business class though got our own bus across to the terminal. Alright, we get a special business class bus for our ride into the terminal.
Dear passengers, please hold on firmly and remain.
Welcome to Beijing Capital Airport. Another new airport for me. I've not been to this one before. I went to Daxing last time I was here. The, wasn't it called the Chocolate Starfish or something, that one? I don't know what this one is. It's an absolute nightmare so far, but it's quite a nice terminal building anyway. We've got 5 hours now to kill until the next flight, but it's home time. We're off back to New York. Oh, I am busting for a wee. Oh, that feels better. Right, let's get to the Air China lounge. Good news, by the way. Good news. Here in Beijing, if you're connecting to an international flight from a domestic flight, you don't need to go through security again. So it seems my Chinese security woes might be behind me. I hope. Oh gosh, I hope there's not another one before I get on the plane now. That might be famous last words. Anyway, this is quite a nice airport. I always thought that Beijing's capital airport was the older of the two airports, and maybe it is. But actually, this is quite nice and modern. Still got no idea where I'm going, but it's quite nice and modern anyway. It's a bit like Daxing Airport, where I went to before. The Chocolate Starfish is very similar to this inside. Very bright and airy and modern. Quite pleasant, really. I just got visions of Beijing Capital Airport being some like 1960s kind of structure that was falling to bits. But you know, especially because they're replacing it with Daxing. But honestly, this is pretty nice. Look at this place. I had a few hours to kill here in Beijing, so I looked for the Air China lounge and eventually I found it. Thank you.
We're on time boarding gate E08.
Perfect, okay.
Here,
So
about 10 minutes from here.
10 minutes, okay.
Yeah, you better be here at 7 o'clock.
Okay, that's okay. It's back the way I came. I just came this way, yeah?
We are here.
Yeah.
That way.
Oh, okay. So that way, yeah, perfect. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. This is the Air China business class lounge here in Beijing Capital Airport. It's actually quite nice. I'm pleasantly surprised. It's not very busy. It's kind of nice and quiet. Lots of quiet little spaces dotted around. And they've got some decent food and drink as well, which is quite nice. My next flight that I'm doing, however, is going to be a super mammoth long flight. It's one of the top 3 longest flights by duration in the whole world. It's a 16-hour flight now from here in Beijing all the way to New York JFK. And you know what the best part about this is? Oh yes, it's on a Boeing 747 all the way back in business class. We are off soon to New York, all the way home, and I am super excited in many more ways than one. Now, usually a flight from Beijing to New York flies over Russia straight over the North Pole. But not this one. You see, we've got to avoid Russian airspace now, which forces us to take the long way round, turning this into the longest 747 flight in the world by duration. It also means our route takes us directly over Alaska, a place that I visited earlier on this year. It was stunning, easily one of the best trips I've ever done, but it was also the place that changed everything, not because of the planes, but because of a chance meeting. When I was up there, I was in a place called Barrow, on a flight, on a Cessna Caravan, and sitting next to me on the plane was a guy who turned out was a doctor. He turned around to me and said, "You know that patch on the side of your head?" And I said, "Right." He said, "Have you had it checked out?" And I said, "Well, yes, for years. Back in the UK, I was seeing doctors and being told that it was just dry skin and prescribed various creams for it, but it never seems to go away. He looked at me and he said, go and get it checked out. It looks like something called basal cell carcinoma, skin cancer. I got back to Houston. Within 24 hours, I was in seeing a skin doctor. Again, within another 24 hours after that, they'd biopsied it and come back to me. And guys, it was skin cancer. I'd had this patch on the side of my head for years. Just always thought it was exactly what people had told me it was. So to get those words that it's cancer, it was pretty flipping scary. Now, very fortunately, I was able to get in within 48 hours and get it all removed. And I've got two patches. I've got this patch up here on the side behind my ear, and I've got a bit on my nose here. They were able to get rid of both of them. They got rid of them. This was a nightmare because this one was 4 inches across by 3 inches high. That is massive. They ended up taking a massive section of my scalp away when they did it. It hurt like heck for a very long time after, and I've been left with this scar now on the side of my head, which is, honestly, I'd rather have a scar than have whatever else it could be. But genuinely, 2 things I took away from that cancer diagnosis this year. First of all, get your skin checked, guys. I mean, I would never have thought, it's just, I'm a man, I just sit and let it roll like that for years, and people tell me it's okay and I just believe them, you know. But it wasn't. It cost me $10 and a 15-minute appointment to get my skin checked out and realise what this was. That's $10 that effectively could have saved my life had it carried on getting worse. And the second thing really is, he's also given me the motivation to actually start covering up. And I know for years and years you guys have been telling me, just put a hat on your head, cover up, and I do now. When I'm at home in Houston, I'm always wearing a baseball cap, even if I don't always show it in my videos because I take it off for camera because I think I look silly in a baseball cap. But I mean, that's just me. Skin cancer isn't always something that you look at and go, that's cancer. This thing on the side of my head I'd had for years. I worked out I'd had it since 2015 at the earliest. 2015, 10 years I'd had this. Every doctor who looked at it in the UK said it was nothing. And one 15-minute appointment here told me exactly what it was, and I just wish that I'd been able to had it treated sooner, and maybe it wouldn't have resulted in having me so much of my skin taken off. And you know what? I am so thankful to that doctor up in Barrow, Alaska. Now, I'm going to put a call out here because I've not been able to find this guy anywhere. He works for a hospital up in Barrow, Alaska. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. You know, if anybody out there knows somebody who might know this guy, I don't want to speak to him or anything. I just want somebody to know that I've said thank you, because he could have saved my life, you know, and I'm not being melodramatic when I say that. He had such a big impact on me. Without him telling me to go and look at it, I would have still not even worried about that patch on the side of my head even now. And this bit here would never have got spotted. I am so very grateful. Time to head down to the gate to get on my 15.5-hour flight all the way back to New York City. Let's get out of here. There's a 747. Let's go home. Now, I don't know about you, but when you're about to take a long haul flight, there is still nothing better after all of these years than rocking up to a gate and seeing that waiting there, a Boeing 747. It is, in my opinion, probably the most beautiful aircraft that's ever been built. Alongside Concorde maybe, but that doesn't exist anymore. So these days, well, this is it really. This is the 747-8 model, the Intercontinental. It's the newest model of it. There's only 4 airlines around the world actually that still fly the 747s in a passenger capacity. Air China is one of them, and this is the longest 747 route globally. It's about a 16-hour flight, 15-16 hours, depending on the winds. You know, just standing here, seeing the amount of people coming up to the gate and taking photos of the 747. The first instinct people have when they come and see this aircraft is to come and take a photo of it. It just shows you, even today, all the aircraft that have come and gone over the last 50 or 60 years, this 747 really does still captivate people's minds and hearts whenever they pull up to the gate and see this thing sitting there. Pretty soon it was time to get on board my plane back to the States, and it was fair to say I was feeling pretty excited. 747. Yeah. Sure, thank you. Here we go. Let's get home. 747, baby. Let's do this.
Hello. Okay, here.
Thank you very much. Stepping on board the Queen of the Skies never stops feeling incredible. You get such a scale of its immense size as you walk through the cabin. Air China's business class is in a 222 config in a pretty strange layout. First class is sandwiched between business class and economy, with business class up here in the front. Well, here we go then for the first time in far too long. Welcome aboard the Boeing 747. This is Air China's business class. It's in a 222 config, and it's weird because Air China are very different to a lot of other airlines. Usually you have first class up at the front, then business class at the back and probably upstairs. But Air China, well, they have business class in the nose and in the middle, and then first class is behind. That's first class in that bit just there. But they've got this kind of weird 2 rows of business class here, and then up in the nose they've got rows of business class, and it's business class upstairs, but you can't actually book the upstairs seats on the website. You wouldn't let me, so hence why I'm sitting here, I think, in the best seat I could get, in this little private business class cabin here, kind of at the front of first class. It's a flatbed at least. But let's be real, calling this cabin private is a bit of a stretch. There's no doors here, I'm basically sleeping in a hallway, and while I can't stop people staring at me while I sleep, I can stop data brokers from staring at my personal information. Because just like this open plan seating, your personal data's often sitting out there in the open. Companies collect it, trade it, and then sell it, which is why you get all of the spam calls and the junk emails. But that's why I use Incogni. See, just like I wish I had a door on this seat, Incogni acts like a shield. You sign up, and then they automatically contact data brokers to demand that they delete all of your information. They handle all the legal stuff and the arguments, which, to be completely honest, I can't be doing with myself. But my favourite feature is the custom removal tool, because sometimes a specific site might have your information that isn't on the automatic list. With this, I can just tell Incogni, hey, get me off this website, and then they go to work. It gives me total control over who has my data, something that I definitely didn't have on the Air China cabin. So if you want that kind of control back, click the link in the description below and enter my code Noel Phillips to get your exclusive discount off an Incogni plan. Protect yourself because, well, let's be honest, nobody else is going to do it for you. Right, back to Air China. Back inside the cabin, champagne was handed out as well as an amenity kit that had a pretty basic selection in it. Pretty soon though, the doors closed and we pushed back from the gate and began our taxi out to the runway for our mammoth flight halfway around the world. Sadly though, my excitement was tempered slightly as the cabin crew decided to leave the lights in the cabin on full bright mode for the entire takeoff, so you couldn't see a thing outside the window. In over 1,500 flights, this is the first time I've ever taken a night flight with the cabin so bright. I always thought it was international standard to dim them in case of having to evacuate, but maybe that's not the case in China. If you know anything about this though, let me know down in the comments. Alrighty then, we are airborne from Beijing, heading home on the Air China 747. Not that we can see anything because, well, the cabin crew have left all the lights on for takeoff. We're airborne anyway. 14 odd hours now left for the flight across to New York. I'm absolutely knackered now. It's 6 AM my time. I've been up since sort of 8 AM yesterday. I need sleep. And so after takeoff, I put my eye mask on, put the bed down and decided to try and get a bit of rest. So I've actually decided to try and get some sleep on this flight as early as I can because, well, right now in America it's 6:30 in the morning and we're arriving tonight at like 9-10 o'clock tonight and I've still not slept, so I'm going to try and get some sleep. I don't want to sleep too much because otherwise I'm not going to sleep when I get in, but hey, let's try and get a bit of sleep now and then I'll eat later in the flight, I think. I mean, so it's not too bad and there is a bit of privacy. I've got a little screen there, a little sort of privacy divider there between me and the lady next door, which isn't too bad. I've actually been chatting to her quite a bit. Lovely lady from China, visiting her daughter over in New York. I'm not holding my hopes up that I'm going to get too much sleep on this flight tonight, but we'll see. I did manage to get a few hours sleep and then I woke up off the coast of Kamchatka. Well, good morning from somewhere over the Aleutian Islands of Alaska. We are officially back in American airspace now, on the home straight. 6 hours down, 7 left to go. I slept for about 5 hours. Not amazing, but that's okay. It means I'm hopefully going to sleep when I get into New York later on tonight. If I sleep too much now, I won't sleep then. One thing I do have to say though is the cabin crew on Air China have been really, really good. The customer service is really brilliant. They don't necessarily speak the best English, but they mean well. I've had cups of coffee since I woke up, and whenever I've finished, I'm not even having to ask for another one. I'm just turning around and finding there's been another one put there for me, and they've just gone to make my dinner as long as I'd missed it last night, so we're going to have dinner now at lunchtime.
The sun started to rise above the horizon as we got closer to the coast of Alaska, just south of Bethel, where the cabin crew came round with my lunch.
That is incredibly nice. Wowzers. I would go as far as to say that this is probably almost Panda Express levels of Chinese food. Very good. They know how to make a good Chinese. And we are well and truly back in America. Over Alaska right now. Beautiful scenery. It's crazy. When you fly and travel as much as I do, the world becomes a much smaller place because suddenly you fly over places that you recognise that you've been to before. We've just flown over Bethel and Dutch Harbour, and we're about to go over Anchorage. I spent a lot of time up there earlier on this year. One thing that people ask me all the time, and I get comments on this all the time, why would I want to move to such a horrible place as the United States? And, well, my response to that is it's not a horrible place. It's an amazing place. For us, we found it to be probably the most incredible country on planet Earth to live in. The opportunities that are there are incredible. It's a beautiful country from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea. It's an absolutely incredible place. Yeah, like anywhere on planet Earth, it has a few nut jobs in it. We've seen that this year. We've seen people, unfortunately, lose their lives at the hands of some of these people. But for the most part, people in America are some of the warmest and friendliest on planet Earth, and especially where we are, down in Texas. It's full of amazing people with big hearts. We've never felt as welcome anywhere on planet Earth as we have in Texas. And I mean that. People there are just so incredible, and it's an amazing, amazing country. Come and visit it, come and check it out, come and see Texas, come and meet American people, and you'll probably find it far surpasses anything you imagined it would be. And more importantly, well, as we've learnt this year, more than any year, don't believe everything you see on TV, especially if it's the BBC, as has been proven.
It's time for the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
Riding on the Air China 747 Lou Review. This is the one of two business class Loos. It's quite big, it's quite spacious, which is quite nice. You should expect that on a 747 really, on the jumbo jet. We've got a loo down here, we've got a sink, some really nice looking toiletries there, and a nice big mirror just there. And on the other side we've got a baby changing table, and the loo is down there. This is the Air China loo on the 747.
That was the Noel Phillips Lou Review.
I was just chatting to one of the flight attendants in the galley, and she was explaining to me that this flight used to be only 12 hours long from Beijing to New York. They used to be able to fly right over the top, over the North Pole and down that way. Unfortunately, back in 2022, they had to change that because America didn't want any Air China planes coming to the States through Russian airspace. So because of that now, we have to avoid Russian airspace, go out over Japan, up over Alaska, and then down across Canada this way. It's a crazy long flight. It's not the craziest though. I mean, I think Finnair have a flight. I was due to fly that before and ended up getting ill, so I couldn't take it. I had to go home. But Finnair have a flight from Seoul to Helsinki, and they can't just go over Russia and up over that way. They have to go eastbound across Japan, the Pacific Ocean, Alaska and Canada, then across the Atlantic Ocean all the way that way around, and it's like almost double the flight time. Air China can ordinarily go through Russian airspace, but just not on flights to America. As I said before, the world is a crazy place.
I see the sunrise creeping in.
I made a pact to slow down this year. Yeah, I failed miserably. 212 flights, 200,000 miles. From the inaugural Global Airlines flight, to the wilds of Alaska and Idaho, to the Emirates A350. To some people, that logbook looks like a dream, but to me, it looks like I'm still chasing something. I told myself it was about efficiency, but maybe I just love the chase.
Always lost and nowhere bound. I'm just a traveler on this earth. Show out my heart behind the pocket of my shirt. I just keep rolling till I'm in dirt, 'cause I'm a traveler. Oh, I'm a traveler.
After almost 15 hours on a plane, New York was in sight, our final destination, and the cabin crew decided to throw a little disco with the lights to celebrate our arrival. After such a long flight, I was just grateful to be home. Yes, I still had a short hop back to Houston to do, but I was about to arrive back into the United States for the very first time as a permanent resident.
New York. Here is a 13-hour flight free between Beijing and New York.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Alrighty then, here we are back in the States. Back home. Anyway, let's go and get through immigration and get to a hotel and get some rest. Just like that, I am back home in the US with my green card as a permanent resident. Global entry actually... Shut up, you noisy git, you might give me a heart attack. Global entry didn't actually, well, it came up and it said I wasn't enrolled, and I spoke to them, and apparently it's because they can't actually switch me to my green card when you arrive. You've sort of got to go on the website and do something with it. So I'm still, even though they let me through the global entry as a green card holder, but clearly I've got to sort something out with that. It feels good to be back, even if it is at JFK.
Watching New York pass by the window, I just feel grateful not only to be back on home soil, but that I get to continue doing this. And that's entirely down to you guys, genuinely. Without every single one of you watching, commenting and flying along with me, this dream doesn't exist. So thank you for flying with me this year, and stick around because trust me, for next year we've got some insane adventures planned. Anyway, enough thinking, let's get to bed.
Right, welcome to the Hampton Inn, LaGuardia Airport. This isn't quite the same as the 86th floor of the Conrad in Shenyang, China, but you know what? This feels like home. This feels like every other hotel I stay in here in the States, and you know what? To me, that feels like home. We made it. 16 hours back from China all the way back to the States. Back here, home. I've got an overnight connection here in LaGuardia, and then tomorrow morning fly back to Houston, and then that's it. A bit of time at home with Rachel and with the kids and the family, and just enjoying a bit of time. It's been a crazy year, absolutely crazy, but thank you so much for sticking with me through this year, for joining me on all of my travels, and for travelling through the year with me. I appreciate it so much. It's going to be an absolutely epic one going forward as well, so thank you again so much for watching. As always, take care, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now. Whew.